Welcome to Chicks Chat Radio, and for those of you watching on YouTube at Chicks Connect. I'm your host, Tita Freytag, chair chick of the Spring Chicks in Springfield, Oregon, and your connection to health options that can change life. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing my friend and fellow Chicks Connect member, Janice Silva. Janice is a lifelong entrepreneur, raised by entrepreneurs from a very creative family. She fell in love with flowers and farming after living in Europe and working as a floral designer in New York City after college. So after visiting a lavender farm in Santa Ynez, California, she and her husband wanted to live like that. So they bought a 100-year-old farm in 1998 in Central California and turned it into a gorgeous lavender farm where they hosted many wellness events over the course of 15 years. They became the largest tourist draw in their town for a while, and Janice won Business Person of the Year in 2008 for bringing an industry into that county that hadn't existed before and for supporting the growing agritourism movement. Welcome, Janice. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh boy, I'm telling you, I'm so excited to hear from you. You shared with me before we started this interview just a little bit of your background, and I know that people are going to be so interested in hearing from you. So I'm excited to get started. I'll just start off with this simple question. Tell us the story behind what you're doing today and what challenges you may have faced along the way.
I'd love to. I'm definitely proof that we can fail and succeed and fail and succeed and get back up. And so I love mentoring and helping and supporting people to keep going and fighting for their dreams, because I've always been a dreamer, lifelong entrepreneur. And like you said, my husband and I, we bought a 100-year-old farm in 1998, and we had the vision to transform it into something really unique and special. And it was a beautiful time of my life where I raised my family, and I've always been into natural healing. So it was an opportunity to really learn about where my food came from and where everything came from that I used, because as we know, our skin is our largest organ. So I would teach every single day about how important it was, what we were putting in our skin and in our environment to our health and well-being. So it was really ingrained in my DNA, and I really loved this business so much. I was the lavender lady, and I never in my wildest dreams thought that anything else would be happening. And when I broke my leg in 2009, on my husband's 60th birthday at 12 noon on our first vacation in 3 years, everything changed for us. So we went from being at the top of our game, loving everything. We had just gotten a huge loan from the USDA to expand our business. And I stepped in a hole in San Clemente, California. And a year later, ended up walking away, losing everything, had to sell the farm short. And had to really look at a creative way to pivot, basically with purpose. And at that time, it was very challenging for me. I went into a deep depression and put on over 100 pounds and was very sick after 4 surgeries. And I'm very allergic to medication, so it was very difficult for me. I'm a nutraceutical gal, not a pharmaceutical gal. And it had a huge effect on my mental clarity, my energy, my well-being, and my weight wellness. So I am so grateful that I was reached out to by a dear friend and got reacquainted with isogenics, which I'm doing now and have been for years, because I was able to finally achieve that weight wellness through a system of nutrient supported intermittent fasting and superfood nutrition, and just really readjust my lifestyle. And again, plant-based. So for me, it was just an easy step into being able to share a more natural approach, and just super grateful for the opportunity as well for the industry of network marketing, because when I had my lavender farm, I was direct to consumer sales and loved that. But I didn't have a network that I could leverage for a residual component to my portfolio. Right. And that's really important for us women and men and all entrepreneurs, all business owners, to understand. If you don't have a residual component, you're really missing out, because when the mom was taken away from the mom and pop, there was no more business. And I didn't have that residual. Now, interestingly enough, when I started my lavender farm, that's when Young Living was starting. And I was one of their original members. And we did lavender like they did. I had a different variety. But I worked with a lot of Young Living people that would sell my oils as part of their package and would bring people to our farm to tour around to see what goes into this amazing process of having plants in our life, eating them, ingesting them, putting them on our skin, whatever. And I did join Young Living, of course, then, but never did anything. Now, had I created a residual network, possibly when that happened to me, when I broke my leg, I could have held on to my business. But what really was happening in my business, and I loved it, it was a labor of love, but we were open 24/7. We were a bed and breakfast. And like you said, I was very involved in the community as an Atascadero Chamber of Commerce rep for 12 years. I was welcoming people to our community from all over the world. And I was very active, and we were busy, working hard. What I have since learned is that, and I made quite a bit of money doing that. You know, it was a very comfortable income, working all the time, but it was also very bohemian lifestyle. And we had many concerts and 11 lavender festivals. I was on 12 open studio art tours. I had artists there all the time painting. We grew our food. We really got into microgreens then. I learned so much about how important nutrition is and how important organic is and farm to table. So it was very great time in my life, but I worked very hard. And what I show people now is that when you can have a residual leveraged income, you don't have to quite work so hard. You can work smarter. And I love teaching people how to do that. And I believe that this industry of network marketing is the #1 industry right now for people all over the world. I challenge people all the time, tell me a better industry. Would you like to be a lawyer? Because you can earn a lawyer's income here, but you're not going to have to go to court, right? You could be a doctor, because we can certainly earn a doctor's income here, because sadly they're not paid enough. And that's why they have to go to pharmaceuticals to recommend pharmaceuticals to get commissions. So it's really a nasty thing going on. And it's sad because my son was a corpsman, and he worked in the hospital for a while, and he really educated me on what goes on. And it's not always in the patient's best interest. And sadly, they don't get paid very much, so they have to look elsewhere. But the thing that's so great is when you have a leveraged income, you can earn that kind of money and not have to have that liability, because the company takes on all that. You don't have to spend, my company spent over $1 billion in research and development. We have 50 full-time scientists. I couldn't have that. So I'm so grateful for this industry. I have to say it all the time. I'm in a couple masterminds around the industry to really be a proponent for professional network marketers. I am a fan of ChicksConnect. I am starting a chapter mastermind here, Maui Mastermind, and I look forward to welcoming more people to that. It's been a slow go with the pandemic, but we also offer healthy retreats here in Maui for my clients that want to book safe, healthy travel and learn our system and develop a relationship with us in Maui, and we'll show them around and teach them how to use plants, because plants, adaptogens and plants, okay, most lavender is an adaptogen, plants that help our body adapt to stress can be really beneficial in a stressful time like this. So I'm passionate about helping people to understand that, right? And I experienced the most stress of my entire life. When I put on the 100 pounds, I couldn't go to the dentist, so my teeth and my gums went way down. I went from great teeth and gums to tremendous periodontal disease, which cost me a lot of money and time, but I just had a dental exam a couple of months ago, and I am not periodontal. I have no more gum issues. So, you know, it makes a difference. This is my before and after. And that's 6 months ago. So it just keeps getting better, better, and better when you give your body the nutrition that it really craves, and you really support it with a plant-based solution. So that's what I do. And I help people feel their best, live better, move better, feel better. And it just really gives me much joy to help them feel this good, because I know what it feels like to not feel good. And I have a knack at supporting people to make it through and get the work done, because I had to release a lot of resentment and a lot of mental work that went into the process. And I love supporting people through that. So whether it's gaining weight or losing weight, whatever it is, we're really about weight wellness. It's not a diet. Our company supports wellness on all levels. So that's what I do. And thank you so much for having me here. I'm grateful to share.
Oh, hey, this was so good. Janice, I want to make sure that people know how to get a hold of you. How can listeners connect with you?
Well, thank you very much for that opportunity. And you can go to Nutritional Rebalancing with Janice, JANICE.com, Nutritional Rebalancing with Janice.com. And all my contact info is there, all my social media links. You can book a one-to-one with me there. You can learn more about what I do and watch some videos. And I look forward to connecting with you.
So Janice, I didn't want to end this interview without asking you the burning question that I've had. How did you end up living in Maui?
Oh, I cannot tell you how grateful I am for being in Maui during this pandemic. What a gorgeous place. My husband and I, after we lost the farm, we got back on our feet through the network marketing industry, and we moved up to Oregon for a while, which was really a wonderful experience. That's how I got into Chicks in the Redmond group with Janice Debo. And we were actually growing cannabis for patients for a while. My mom had Alzheimer's, and I was caring for her, and I took her off all meds, and I put her on that, and she just changed. And she lived with me for 7 years, and it made her life richer. And she died, actually, unfortunately, the day we went into lockdown. I had to say goodbye on video. It was so hard, but I was grateful that she was ready, to go, and she didn't have to see all this, or wear a mask. And I was pre-mask, but we loved our time in Bend, but when it went legal recreationally, everything changed for the small farmer. I'll tell you, the small farmer always takes the hit, unfortunately, and it became really about big money, and it changed. So we actually moved to Southern Oregon and bought 34 acres, and we did a small hemp farm for a while. My son is a master grower, growing up on a lavender farm. You can imagine my kids are both great with plants. And he loved that for a while, but he since has moved on and bought a house in Dunsmuir, where he's also gardening and raising my grandson. But we got on the road because we're snowbirds, and we became full-time RVers. And we traveled around the country for 3 years. It was so fun. I did not think we'd stop. But we had an opportunity to come over here to Maui. My family built this apartment complex, Pi'ilani Gardens, beautiful apartment complex, 200 units on 14 acres. And we had an opportunity to come and live here for 90 days. And I wanted to build my team here. So we came over with high hopes, and I wanted to start kind of seeing about doing the retreats and inviting my clients. I had 6 clients that I hosted, and it was so fun. And then what? The pandemic hit, and everything changed. So we stayed. I sold my RV like that, because, RV sales are up 500%. And if you're thinking about it, any of you chicks, we know that Jules has loved it, right? It's a great lifestyle. And it's a great one for network marketing, because you can meet a lot of people. And it's fun for you if you just want to get up every morning and decide what you want to do. So I really didn't think it was going to end, but pandemic, I guess God wanted us here. And this is like, many times this has happened in my life where I thought it was going to be one thing, right? What do we say? How do you make God laugh? Make plans, right? It shifted, and now I'm in Hawaii, and now I love it. And who knows where tomorrow will bring, but I'm definitely digging it right now. So thank you for asking. And I just hope that more people will come over and visit. And if anybody wants to move to Maui, talk to me. We have apartments.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Hey, thanks for spending time with us. And to our listeners, thanks for hanging out. This has been an episode of Chicks Chat Radio on podcast and YouTube at ChicksConnect. Be sure to check out ChicksConnect. It's a mastermind support network. It's a wonderful organization. You can learn more about ChicksConnect at bit.ly/meet-your-tribe. And this is your host, Tita Freytag, Chair Chick, and your connection to health options that can change life. Thanks so much, Janice.